G'day everyone and welcome back to episode 7 of the Chat with Cardy series. Now I do apologise for not getting one out last week. I did put up a community post explaining on the reasoning behind why I didn't get one out. And long story short, I had a poor week last week. You guys would have watched the weekly vlog. I did not have a great week at all. I'll have one out this week. It's not too big of a deal, but yeah, I didn't have that as a top priority. Like I was gonna get one out on Thursday, but then all the shit happened. Like if you would have watched the vlog, you would have known what happened with the rabbits. Like it was a terrible week, really. It sort of only got slightly better on the last day, but it sort of just started from a day that was shit and gradually got shitter. Like it all started with Cricket 22 being delayed. It wasn't that big of an issue. It was just like I remember seeing the news and going, "Wow, this is some awesome start to the week. Great news to start the week off." But little did I know that will almost be the best news I would receive all week. And as of recording this, Cricket 22 is out tomorrow, so I'm actually really excited. But it didn't really affect me too much. In hindsight, I'm almost glad that Cricket 22 was delayed because that means I got to spend more time on draft content. If Cricket 22 was actually out on the Thursday, that means it would clash and I wouldn't really be able to stream the second night nor do the draft review, which was, funnily enough, a video that started considerably shit when I first got it out. I got it out at like 12 o'clock during the Friday, during a school day. 160 views in the first hour, and now it has over 5,500 views in 4 or 5 days. So that's not too bad for an off-season video at all. Any video that gets over 3Ks is a good video, I'd say, at the moment, which becoming difficult to come by. But yeah, so it started off with Cricket 22 being delayed. Then the next day, I actually was up in the morning because I did a bit of an all-nighter. I had a bit of a power nap on the Monday night, and I woke up at like 11, and then I'm like, oh shit, I got to get a draft video out the next day. I had no idea about anyone in the draft. Like I had no idea what I was doing, so I had to go and research and find out all the players and just everything about the draft. I ended up just taking ages, and it ended up being the morning. And I go downstairs to I was just downstairs. I'm like, I'll have breakfast. Let's check on the rabbits. The hutch was open, and I just had a gut feeling that something wasn't quite right. So I decided, you know what, I'll have a look in the hutch, and then I see one of the rabbits was just laying in the hutch area on the top level. I'm like, that doesn't look right to me at all. I thought initially, surely he's got to be sleeping, but unfortunately he wasn't. I felt him stiff and cold, and that only just started the shockwave of effects that happened afterwards. So yeah, one of them died. Then on the Wednesday, another one did. Then on Thursday, another one did. I actually watched that one die, which was really bad. It just kept. There was a bit of a ripple effect, and it kept getting worse as deaths occurred. So we started with 8, I think, in that area, and we ended up with none. But for anyone wondering, we still have rabbits, but not many. Like only like a few who sort of live under the deck. It's a bit weird, I don't know, but yeah, it wasn't great at all. I still do miss them because just like an hour ago, I was outside. I'm just like, fucking hell, it's pretty quiet. Like normally when I'm outside, they'd all be running up to you, hoping for food. But still, I mean, it's great to have them around. But that sort of did suck. Well, that definitely did suck. Like I was just thinking, that's probably the worst week of my life, or one of the worst weeks. Like you don't really think about it, but when you do, like when you rank the worst weeks of your life or whatever, like how would you judge worst weeks? Like, because I reckon that'll definitely be up there. In terms of the worst weeks, well, probably top 5. Like if this was a tier maker for worst weeks, it'd be S tier or A tier. In saying S isn't a good thing, it's more like the worst is in S. But it'd probably be top 5 because I've had pets die before. I've had like even relatives die, but like if they weren't really that too close in terms of the relatives, but those rabbits like all in 1 week, that was pretty bad. So I'd probably have to say it's top 3 of my life, because you can't really compare that to having a really shit week at school. Like school's different, or like when I did break my laptop, which is nowhere near as bad. But then I did get a new phone on the Sunday, and it is working a treat. I got a wireless charger as well. I bought that. It was on a Black Friday sale as well as the new phone. It's so much more handy to have a wireless charger than just a normal charger, because the old charger that I had for my iPhone 8 was killing the phone. I think it was some cheap Chinese rubbish that was probably worth $5 or $10 at most, and probably because of its low sort of power, or the low watts in the charger in itself, caused the battery to fuck up a lot quicker than what it probably should have. Or I might just be pulling this out of my ass. I'm not too sure, but I have a feeling that's probably why the battery was that terrible. I got to the stage where my iPhone would only last 1 to 1.5 hours of battery, and it just wouldn't last, particularly when I go out. Like, I'd have to really conserve it. So if I wanted to use it on the phone, on the train, half the time if I do that, the battery wipes down to 40%, and I just got to my destination. So I've in the last month or so, whenever I did go out and use my phone, knowing that I'd have to use it for the entirety of the day, I'd always bring a charger with me, because otherwise it's just gonna run out halfway through the day, which is just not worth it. And my storage was a bit of an issue as well. Like, I only had 64 gigs, and I just had a lot of stuff on my phone, so it just wasn't worthwhile. So definitely, when I did go to South on the Sunday, I wasn't expecting a new phone, but I'm really glad I do have a new one, because the battery life. I did a stream at the pub yesterday. Comment down Umbrella if you were there on that stream. It was a weird one, because it wasn't actually at the pub. It was after the pub. It was at midnight. Me and my mates are just talking, and then one of them was like, "Oh, odds on you stream." I'm like, "All right, fine." I think it was like odds on. It was not a very high number, but I'm like, even if I did stream, I think I thought it'd be pretty funny. Yeah, I lost, so I ended up streaming. I only had like 23% of my phone at the time I started, and I was using my mobile data. I ended up streaming for almost an hour, like 55 minutes, and it didn't even run out of battery. I was doing a full-on YouTube live stream for an hour, and it only wasted maybe 20% of my battery. Now, I would say it's a very, very good strike rate, because let's compare this to my old phone, where if I even at 100%, my phone would run out of battery before I got to an hour mark if I was streaming. So that's why whenever I did a walk into the shop stream, a live stream, it'd never be too long, because I just couldn't stream for that long. So I'm definitely glad that the battery is a lot better. Like, I've gone days without having a charge, and a lot of the time my phone that would be the reason why I wake up late, because I thought I think that my phone has battery, but like it doesn't stay on the percentage it is overnight. Like, let's just say it's 15% overnight. Couldn't find a charger anymore. I don't know, but I'm like, oh well, should set an alarm for the next day. I wake up late, realizing that the alarm didn't go off because the phone went out of battery. Whereas the other phone, it's just not going to be the case, and I can just put on the wireless charger. So it's helped me wake up early, that's for sure. Storage is definitely good. I don't have to worry about that. The quality on the phone is it's almost as good as my camera. Like, it's just as good for my camera inside if I'm going to film for weekly vlogs. So that's definitely a positive. New phone. It wasn't just me who got one. One of my sisters did, and my mum got a new one. So yeah, a few big winners on that day, but overall it was a net loss, obviously, over the week. So yeah, I mean, I sort of explained that a little bit. I'm not really explaining the why I didn't do more the chat with Cardy last week. That was more just explaining you about how I got a new phone, how I thought that was a good way to finish a bad week. But obviously, yes, for the 15th time, that is why I didn't get anything out last week. I really hate my chair when it squeaks like that. I don't know why. I think it over squeaks, or there's something in my chair. Like, maybe I need to oil it or something. I don't know. Screw the screws tighter or something like that, or tighten the screws a bit more. I don't really know, but it's a bit annoying because every time I do streams, videos, particularly these audio podcasts where you can't even see me, so it's just a bit of a weird sound. I'd like to get that fixed if I can. Um, but yeah, I had a strange day on the Friday as well. So it didn't start off great. I got told that another rabbit died, and then I was like, what am I gonna do? I had no motivation to do much at all. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go out. Let's just go out. Um, so I decided to go to the train station and just go somewhere random. I very, very rarely do something like that where I just decide to go wherever I want with no real care in the world. But funnily enough, I didn't put in much care into actually preparing for the trip because I'll explain a little bit more later. So the plan was sort of just to listen to some music on the train, not worry until I get some random station, um, and always good at the start. Like when I got to the station, I realized that oh shit, I didn't bring a Mikey. Um, But I got the biggest luck you could ever get. I found a Mikey on the floor that actually had money on it. So I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. So I used that to get on the train. But then I realized I didn't have a mask, which was like, it was frustrating, but I didn't see it as too much of an issue because on the train, like no one's really going to care. It's much worse not having a Mikey because you can actually get a really big fine for Mikey. I think they changed it from like a $60 fine to one of my mates said he got a $500 fine. So it's like it's just not worth it. Like I remember in years 8 to 10, or whenever I took the train from school, I would not touch on literally every day. And I didn't really have a particular reason for it. Like it's not like I was spending any money on Mikey fares at all. Whereas now I spend all my money. Well, not like as in I always spend money on topping up Mikeys and stuff like that, which is just not ideal. Um, but yeah, I don't really know why I needed to do that. I mean, I know from school it was only a couple stops, but there were a few times where there were the ticket officers or whatever you call them, the PSOs. I can't really remember what they're called on the train station. And I remember that there was one time where they went on my exact carriage. So I told my mate that I didn't have a Mikey, might have had one, but didn't touch on, or it might not have had money. So we had to quickly leave that on that station, pretending that we were getting off that station, but in reality we were just moving carriages. So I shut the bed there. I genuinely thought I was going to be in a bit of trouble, but I'm sure they'll probably just give you a warning. Like I don't think they just fine you on the spot, particularly if you're a first timer. And I look 10, so they probably would have just been like, "Look, you're an idiot. Touch your Mikey next time, or you'll be in some trouble." And I remember they started having PSOs at the station we were at. So whenever sometimes I'm nervous on the train when I don't touch on. I think shit, maybe one of them is going to check if I've touched on or not. And then I get to my station going, phew, brilliant, don't have to worry. And then I go, what the fuck? The Mikey, the people are checking your Mikey as you're leaving the station. So I had to fucking think of a plan. Either I got off and then the train left, so I couldn't have gone back on the train to just go into a different station. I don't know what I did, but I got away with it. I probably just pretended to touch on, but didn't actually do it, or touch off. But anyways, enough on that. I sort of elaborated too much on another story, or another topic. So I didn't have a mask on the train, but I think it's worse not having the mic in itself, because you can actually get a pretty big fine. And I tried to cover my face in any way I could. I got off at Elsternwick. I've only been a few times, but I've actually never really properly been around the shops, that area. Like I've been to, I actually went on a school excursion for Geo in year 11, which was a pretty fun school excursion. We went to the, it was not fun or fun, but it was like interesting. So we went to like Elsternwick and Elwood, or anyways. But yeah, I got off at Elsternwick. I needed to eat. I was really hungry because I had barely ate the whole day. And it was like 2:30. But for whatever reason, I really craved Subway, and I knew that there was a Subway down the road. But I got my directions all messed up because I thought I was walking towards the area that had a Subway, but I was just walking the complete opposite direction. So I ended up walking past all of the Elsternwick shops. Like there were many options I could have had, like grilled, Nando's, Like there were many places there that I could have had something to eat, which I should have in hindsight, but I instead ignored all those the options, and I just kept walking. So I passed Elstonwick. I think I got to Caulfield. I would almost say I walked for an hour just randomly. I had no idea where I was. I sort of checked Google Maps, but at the same time, not really. And then I ended up in Malvern. And when I got there, I'm like, all right, fucking please be something to eat because I'm starving. It got to like 4 o'clock. Like I was almost planning on heading back initially at that time when hadn't even eaten yet. So it was 4 o'clock. I was at Malvern, so I just walked, found a schnitz. I'm like, fuck it, we're eating there. I still had like 15% on my phone. Still didn't have a mask, but I did have a Mikey. So I went to Schnitz, had a nice... Well, it wasn't actually that good. It was quite an underwhelming meal. Like, Schnitz is usually really good, but the chips and I got a Parma there. It wasn't that good. It really wasn't that good at all. But it was still okay, but could have been better. So I finished the meal. I'm like, all right, sweet. I was low on battery, so the plan was to try and actually get a mask and then go to the city so I can charge up my phone, because there's an area where you can easily, like in Melbourne Central, I wanted to go there because I brought a charger along with me. So I decided, well, why not? I need to get a mask. So I, thought, how am I going to get a mask? But the thing is, without a mask, you can't really walk into a shop. Like, for example, the places that sell masks, such as chemists, places like that, you're not even allowed to walk into a chemist without a mask. But the stupid thing is that the only reason I wanted to walk inside a shop like a chemist was to get a mask, but I wasn't allowed to walk in without a bloody mask. I remember I walked into a couple shops, I tried to fucking get a mask, but they kicked me out because I didn't have a fucking mask. Like, I literally was there to buy a mask. Like, what sort of logic is that? I was so pissed off. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get a mask? Because even though I didn't wear one on the train, I did need one when I got to the city. So I'm like, what the fuck do I do? They're not going to let me in the shop. How else am I going to get a bloody mask? I walked to a supermarket. They didn't ask me there, but for whatever reason, they didn't have any masks. Like, you would think they'd have a spare one, or not even a spare one. You think they'd fucking sell masks. You think a supermarket would sell face masks, something that is literally mandatory still, and which I think is dumb. I don't think we should still wear masks in retail. Like, it's now December. 95% of people are fully vaxxed. Why the fuck are we still wearing masks in retailers? So I just got really, really pissed. I got so frustrated. 40 minutes of looking for a mask, and I just gave up. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm just going to go. Who cares? It's a mask. If they're going to tell me off, I'll just tell them I don't have one. Like, what's the worst they're going to do? Execute me for not having a mask? Little did I know that was far from the end. As I'm just checking my recent video, which is doing not too bad. The reacting to old videos. But yeah, anyways, got to Malvern Station. It was like a 10-minute walk from the shops, so it was actually longer than what I expected. And the Mikey that I found on the floor stopped working. It wouldn't register. It was like a really fucking faulty Mikey. Like, it took me, I remember that when I touched on to get to where I went, it took me like 7 tries to touch on, but I spent like a good 3 or 4 minutes trying to top up money on the Mikey, or trying to just use it in any way, shape or form, and it wouldn't let me at all. So I'm like, I already had a shit day. Like, even if you take away me being hungry, me not having any battery on my phone, me not having a mask, I mean, all my fucking rabbits died. So I was in the shit mood from that anyways. The only reason I would decide to leave was to make my mind, forget about it. But it just made it worse. So I'm like, well, fuck this shit. I've got 1% on my phone. All right. I've got no Mikey to get back at all. And I don't have a mask. So I go, fucking shit. Where do I get a Mikey from? The closest place that I could think of was a newsagent. So I got in there, literally just as they were about to close. Like, the lady was about to kick me out because probably I didn't have a mask on. but I asked her if she did have a Mikey. She didn't have a Mikey. You would think a newsagent sell Mikeys, they don't. But luckily they sold a mask. They sold masks. So probably the most expensive mask I'll ever buy, and the only time I'll ever buy a singular mask. I had to spend $1.30 for a surgical mask. I mean, let's be real. Bit of a rip-off, or probably money well spent in hindsight. So I finally got the mask that I was so desperately after, but what I needed more was a Mikey. And unfortunately, the only places that really sell Mikeys are train stations in itself that actually have those customer services. Some newsagents, because obviously not all after the last one I went to, or 7-Elevens. So I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, 7-Eleven, we'll just look that up. Closest 7-Eleven was 2 kilometers away from where I fucking was. So I'm like, literally, what I had to do was walk 2 Ks only to go to a 7-Eleven to get a Mikey. So I quickly looked up closest 7-Eleven before my phone ran out of battery. It ran out of battery, but I remember the route on how to get there. So I spent the next 30 minutes walking to 7-Eleven to get a Mikey. And luckily, they did have a Mikey. And I was able to get to the city to charge up my phone and then get back home. But that trip took me 7 to 8 hours when it really only should have taken me 3. Or less than 3. I mean, it was just really, really annoying. It was a shit day in all. And when I got back, 2 more rabbits died. It was just one of the worst days that Friday. Like, it couldn't have been any worse. And to make matters worse, I think the video that I got out, the draft video, did absolutely horrendous when I got it out. Weirdly enough, though, it just skyrocketed in views over the next few days. But it was just everything that could have gone wrong on the Friday went wrong. Really, really pissed me off. But I just it's so annoying though. The mask situation. They kick you out of a shop for not wearing a mask, but the only reason you want to go to that shop is to buy a mask. Surely they'd be considerate, but they're not. They're fucking stupid. So, moral of the story, next time you go out, make sure you've got a Mikey with you. If you want to go public transport, make sure you've got a mask with you, and make sure you've got battery on your phone. I definitely learnt that the hard way on the Friday. But yeah, then it sort of got a bit better, as I said, with the new phone on the Sunday. And that's all. Fucking hell. We're already 23 minutes in. I spoke a lot on that. But yeah, this week has been a lot better. I've actually done a lot more. I've started sort of working out, I guess you could say. I know I started that a month ago, but fortunately I wasn't able to continue it because it's just too much of a hassle to get to a mate's place. A 40-minute inconvenience through public transport and having to walk. And then to make matters worse, he's working all day, so it's almost impossible to find a time. I'll only probably get 1 session in a week, if that. So it's probably want to seek elsewhere. So yeah, over the past few days, I've been doing weights at home, other stuff over December. I've decided, you know what, I'll do what Druzy did, what he's doing. I think the 30 days of fitness. Why not? Give it a go. What's there to lose? I want to get fit over summer. I want to be bigger. So I think that's something that I do want to do over the next few months. And I don't want to quit because there are many times where I've said I'd start, and I did start, and then I quit after a week or two, and it's just complete waste. You might as well not have even done it. So yeah, not only weights, but runs. I haven't gone on one yet, but I'll probably go on one later this week. I hate running. It's so boring. We'll never go for a run for there to be no sole purpose, just for the sole purpose of running. Even if I know it's good for my cardio and good for even for footy or anything. Or for footy, if I've been told to go for a run, I'll do that. But I'm not just going to go for a run to nowhere. So I feel like if I were to go for runs, I'd have to go to a specific place. Maybe in the morning, go for a run, go get some breakfast there, or go take the dog to the beach and go for a run. That's much more enjoyable, much more fulfilling than just going for a run to nowhere to no man's land, particularly if I don't have any music to listen to. Which is another thing. Like, I hate listening to music whilst doing doing exercises with wired headphones. So frustrating. Like, it just always falls out every time. Like, 2 minutes in, I tried it the other day with weights, and it just fall out straight away. Like, and having your clunky phone in your pocket whilst trying to do all the exercises is a no-no. It's fucking annoying. So definitely, I want someone I actually wouldn't mind getting AirPods. AirPods would be really handy in that situation because you wouldn't have to worry about them falling out or about your phone getting caught up because you just put your phone somewhere else. But they are quite expensive. But I mean, I'd actually buy them. Like, I'd consider buying them, but they're not. It's not that high up in my sort of needs or my wants, my acquired purchases. But it's probably climbing the ranks. Like, I reckon AirPods were probably 8 or 9. Now they've gone up to maybe 4 or 5 or 4. So I might consider getting them soon. Or I might just get other headphones. It doesn't necessarily have to be AirPods because they are expensive. They're good, very good. Because I've actually tried them. I think I've used them before. Like, borrowed it from people. But like, I could just use other wireless headphones that are a lot cheaper. I actually do have a pair that I just lost the charger for, but if I get that working, I could just use those. Really, theoretically, it doesn't necessarily have to be AirPods, but just wired headphones, fuck that shit. It's so annoying. It really is. But what I'm annoyed about is that my mum will never get them for me. She's like, she's anti AirPods for whatever reason. She reckons that's going to give you so much radiation. Now, I don't agree with what she's saying. Like, that apparently you're going to get massive radiation because you're wearing AirPods or whatever. Like, it's the same thing for anything, but it's you would think by now, if it was really that bad, people would actually seek the consequences and suffer from it. But I don't think anyone has been yet. And just because there are 1 or 2 doctors, or that just because it's been brought up on the news, doesn't mean it's entirely true. Like, I personally think she's been brainwashed and being sucked in by the few articles she sees online. Because the news lie half the time. Like, people who think the news are telling the truth 100% of the time are fucking stupid. It's not the case. They do want to brainwash you if they want to. They do want to scare you, the news, particularly with COVID. Like, I'll tell you what. But we're not going to get political. All I'm saying is that it's gone from AirPods to COVID political crap. All I'm saying, I wouldn't mind AirPods, but for whatever reason, my mum has sort of something against them. So, which is quite ironic considering my dad got these cheap AirPods from some convention for free, and straight away my mum claimed them. But I have a feeling the reason was for so she can keep them for herself, but not actually use them, so we can't use them. But like, even if I do get them, what she's not going to be able, what's she going to do? Nothing. Like, it's not like I'm doing drugs. Like, it's a massive difference between the two. But yeah, she for whatever reason isn't for them. Which, yeah, I don't really understand. But I guess each to their own. Each to their own. I did get out a reacting to old videos an hour and a half ago, and I'm really annoyed because every time I get a video like that out, without a shadow of a doubt, YouTube just disable the comments straight away, and it's really frustrating because, yeah, I understand YouTube disable comments for those who are under 13 or whatever, and I think that's a good change, right? Like, I don't really think people should be on YouTube under 13, or at least not making videos. But I definitely see why comments, it's just better to protect the safety of children for not, because you could get some weird fucking comments on videos with kids. But this is different. I mean, I'm not a kid, obviously. And just because I've got kids in my video doesn't mean it has to be immediately flagged or taken down in terms of the comments. Like, I'm reacting to myself as a kid. It's a massive difference to to if I actually had kids in the video, or if I was the kid in myself making the video. Like, even if I had someone who was like 9 in the video, I don't think that should mean that the comments should be turned off. Like, I reckon if you want the comments turned off, that's up to you. But I think I don't think YouTube should be doing it for others. I think if you want them on, you can turn them on. But if you feel like having the comments turned on might be unsafe, turn them off. You've got the choice. Why are YouTube taking away our freedom in a way, like our choices that we can make with all the videos and stuff? So that's really annoying, because for the first hour of the upload, I had to constantly monitor the comment section to check if they've been disabled or not. It's already happened 3 times. So what I do when they do get disabled, I have to go on Studio on my phone and manually turn them on, which is so stupid. Like, they automatically turn them off, but you still have the option to turn them back on. Like, well, just by the 3rd time, wouldn't YouTube realize that maybe this person wants the comments on and there's really nothing wrong with the video? I think it's just really annoying and stupid. And it's always, whenever I do a video reacting to my younger self in the form of old videos, hasn't happened since 2019 where it's just been me. Like, because in 2019, I actually would get my comments turned off like every video because I looked like I was under 13, which was pretty fucking annoying because I wasn't. I was 16, but I guess that made more sense. But it is annoying. Like, if you are under 13, fair enough. But I can see how annoying it would be if you're over 13 and they just fucking think you're too young. I think that might be how a lot of people got banned, like Ryder and Blaze and all those sort of people back a year ago. Like, there was a massive surge of channels getting banned from streaming. Like, I got banned from streaming, which was really frustrating. But like, it would have been a lot worse. Imagine getting banned from streaming over the footy season. That would be detrimental. Because I actually forgot how enjoyable streaming during the footy season, like streaming footy games, were. Like, Friday night streams, I reckon next year, get the layout set up a bit better, like maybe have a bit of a background, a bit of a backdrop, fix the scoreboard up, fix all the templates on the screen, maybe get a couple people alongside me to watch the game, like Caden used to do back in 2019. I reckon they could really kick off and do a lot better than last year's. Like, I always want to constantly improve, and I think that would have to be something that would want to improve on as well. But yeah, that is annoying when comments do get turned off. Another thing that was annoying was when I uploaded my draft video last week, the mock draft. I spent 7 to 8 hours, no jokes, researching / filming / editing, just / making the mock draft, just all combined. I reckon 7 to 8 hours on the video, if not probably more, honestly. And the what pissed me off was just the comments. Now, I'm not really blaming anyone. I'm just more disappointed or like just frustrated because I spent all that time, researching the plays, being all analytical into the video, and then all the comments have got nothing to do with the actual content itself. Like, it's all just first. Nice video, nice predictions, nice this, nice that. Like, I know that all the comments mean well, but comments such as just the plain old and simple nice video are in a way quite meaningless and irrelevant. Like, okay, you like the video, but it's too basic. I don't know. It's just, it's not worthy of a reply, that's for sure. Like, I'll heart it, sure, but I'm not going to reply to a nice video because I get them way too often. And I particularly don't like it when people comment nice video in the first minute. Like, you haven't even watched it. What if 3 minutes into the video I did a hate speech? I put hate speech of a certain creator who said nice video. Will they still think it's a nice video? Probably not. So when you are commenting on my videos, you can say nice video, it's fine, I don't mind, but there's more of a chance of me replying, and I would appreciate it a little bit more if you put a little bit more thought into the comments. But at the same time, for the most part, it's fine. But for a video like that, it was just annoying that every video comment had nothing to do with the video itself. Like, I could have uploaded a video of me taking a shit in the toilet, or me throwing darts, or me doing anything, and if you saw the comments, you wouldn't know that that's a video for the mock draft. Now let me find an example. Let me go through all the comments of the video, and let me just read a few of them out. I won't say who commented them. I'm just saying examples of comments. First. Nice vid. Nice video. Great video. I love these vids. Excited for the draft tomorrow night. Like, that's fine. That's fine. All the comments that I'm reading out, like Dacos. Excited for Dacos. Excited for Horn Francis. Great vid. But there were no real comments referring to my actual mock draft in itself, which sort of annoyed me, because I spent all that time and effort into it, and I didn't really get any feedback on it. And it's like, it would have been good if people could have actually commented saying, oh, I disagree with your list, or I actually do agree with what you said at pick 14 or whatever. I only got like 3 or 4 comments, which was not that many in terms of how many I probably expected. But that's all right. It's just a little bit annoying when I checked the comments and they just had nothing to do with the video in itself. But I feel like, rather than True Footy, I feel like a lot of my audience aren't as interested in the draft as more of a mature audience, like such as True Footy, which is fair enough. Like, I feel like a lot of the people who saw that video and their recommended or their subscription were like, or their sub box were like, probably not really into the draft, or don't really pay attention to the draft, so didn't really see the need to click on the video, which is fine. So that's probably why it didn't do amazing, or at least the first one. And that probably also suggests why the comments didn't have a lot to do with the video in itself, because they probably didn't know what to comment. Like, if you don't really know, I can't blame someone for not knowing what to say if they're not following the draft, right? So yeah, it's got nothing to do with anyone at all. So yeah, recently in the news, there's been a new variant of COVID, the Omicron variant, which has sort of erupted in somewhere in South Africa, and now it's in Australia, and I don't know why, but I have a feeling that this could cause panic and chaos, and maybe we could go into another. I really hope that doesn't mean we go into another lockdown, but it's just that if the Omicron variant is so different to all the other variants, it might mean that the vaccine that we took might have no impact. Like, might not stop us from getting COVID, or from getting seriously sick with the other variant. And I don't know if that means we go into another lockdown. I don't think so. Like, I don't really know too much. I've got fuck all of an idea what I'm saying. But I've seen a lot of articles just pop up saying, because I think a lot of states or countries have already closed their borders to certain other countries. I think Tasmania, anyone who's been overseas now cannot go to Tasmania, or I think they got to get like some sort of exception, or they've got to quarantine for a certain amount of days, which it just goes to show that COVID is never ending. Like, I thought we were all over, but then here we go, a new variant comes into effect, and I don't know if that means that the vaccines that we have all taken are no longer effective for this particular variant of COVID. I got no idea, but I would be shocked if anything too severe happens. Like, I reckon it'll just come and go. In my opinion, I think for the most part it should be effective, so we shouldn't really have to worry, I don't think, because I'd be pretty fucking pissed off if we went back into another lockdown. Like, that was terrible couple of months, or however long it was this year. Like, it was probably the worst chunk of the year, I'd say, for myself, because I couldn't do anything. I was stuck at home. Just lacked motivation for not only uni but for YouTube as well. Like, I'm sure if we were in a normal season, or just in normal times where we weren't into lockdowns or anything, I'm sure I'd be more motivated to make videos. I could go to games, I could film outdoor videos, I could meet up with other YouTubers. Couldn't do any of that when I'm stuck at home and we couldn't leave the house and the views were down. So let's just hope nothing happens next year and we have a fine year, fine season. But yeah, that's just a slight little concern that's been brought up over the last couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens, I guess, over time. But I think we should be fine. We should be fine. But I don't know what I'm talking about really. I'm just looking up a couple articles here. Yeah, we should be fine. We should be fine. So a few weeks ago, if you saw on the weekly vlog, I did get my learner's license, which was quite late, obviously. But it's now December, and I still haven't gone for a proper drive yet because my parents keep bloody putting it off, and it's pretty frustrating. I wanted to go for one in the first week, but they were busy, so fair enough. Second week, there was no problems, but they were like, oh, we don't want to do it, we want to do it early in the morning, and I wake up at 1 and ask. I mean, I don't think it matters. So, again, we put it off. Then, a couple other times I asked, they said, oh, we'll do it the next day. But every time you ask someone to do something and they say, oh, we'll do it the next day, there's a good chance that probably won't happen because you didn't tell them the next day and then they forget about it. They go, oh, that didn't happen, or sorry, but we're busy, we're doing something else. And then the weekends are also in a way quite busy, or at least over the last couple of weeks. Like, I've been relatively busy over the past few weeks, to be fair, and so have my parents. Like, I think on Sunday we got a new barbecue, which is something that I definitely wanted for a long time because we haven't had a barbecue in this house, and we've been here for a good 2.5 years. So yeah, having a barbecue is going to make dinners a lot better. Like, we can now have proper sausages, proper burgers and all that cooked on the barbecue. It's just not the same cooked on the pan or on the stove or whatever. It just doesn't taste the same. It's not as juicy, not as tender, and who doesn't like a good barbecue? So I think definitely for Christmas this year we better have a barbecue, because over the last couple of years we've had Christmas at our place because our place probably suits Christmas a bit better, because we've had it at our grandparents' house for the past for the first 15 or 16 years. It's just always been there, but ever since 2019, I think I actually did vlog that. I vlogged Christmas Day, which is a little bit awkward. I probably won't do it this week or this year because, I mean, I don't want to vlog everything. Something as private as Christmas Day with family is a little bit private, so I probably don't really want to just shove cameras in people's faces. It's not necessarily the Christmas spirit and not necessarily a thing that I want to be doing. But we're going to have Christmas at our place, you would think, again this year. And the good thing is, it's summer, it's hot. We've got a pool, so a lot of the time, like, Christmas is usually always hot, so we can just jump in the pool. I think I said it in a previous chat with Cardy, but my family in Australia isn't nowhere near the size of most families, particularly my one in Mexico, which have like over 50 relatives. Like, the one in Australia, it's literally just me, obviously my immediate family. Then I got my grandpa, my grandma, my uncle, then his partner, and then they have a couple kids. One's 3. They're both girls. Like, I feel like I'm like the most unluckiest in the family. Like, I've got 2 sisters, one cousin that's a girl, and now 2 more cousins that are girls that live in Australia. Like, it's not many. And then another one that's like 1 year old. So yeah, I definitely think it's a lot better when there are other kids in our family that come around. Like, I know that there's a massive age difference, so it's not like we can do the same things. But like, yeah, every time we come round now, she wants me to bloody play with her, like play ball with her. I can remember Melbourne Cup Day. This was pretty freaking, you could arguably say, dangerous, but I was throwing a full-size Sharon up a flight of stairs and getting a 3-year-old to try and catch it. Lo and behold, when my uncle found out what we were doing, he wasn't necessarily impressed, but it was safe. It just sounded a lot more dangerous than what it was. Normal family, grandparents, uncle, partner, 2 kids, and then you would suggest most of the time another cousin who's like 20, 21, and then her boyfriend, and that's literally it. So compared to most other families, not too many, but you don't need to have a massive gathering for it to be a good one. So should be another good Christmas, you'd think, this year as well. But I don't know how the fuck it got to Christmas. It got to barbecue from driving. Weird weird whenever I do this by myself. Like I feel like it's a lot harder trying to think of stuff to say by yourself. Because when you got another person, you can just bounce off ideas, and if you're stuck on what to say, they can help out. When it's just you, it's literally just you, and it can get a little bit difficult when you're driving from fucking barbecues to Christmas. And I just got a bloody notification for Fortnite. Why have I got a notification for Fortnite? I've not played that game. I've not played Fortnite. Well, actually, I played it. I tried to play it on a stream, but I gave up after 20 minutes because the controls stopped working, which is so stupid. Like, I didn't mind the game at the time, but nowadays, even if the controls were fine, too many stupid little kids who are sweats at the game who just make it an unenjoyable experience. Like, I don't really give a shit that you're good at Fortnite, alright? Nowadays, anyone who claims that they're good at Fortnite brags about how good they are at Fortnite in 2021 or even close to 2022. I have no interest in. I don't care. I could not care less that you've got your stage 4 in arena or whatever the good stage is in arena. I don't give a shit that you have 100 solo wins. Maybe in 2018 when I was craving the elusive solo victory royale, maybe I would care. But I don't give a shit now because the game is just nowhere near as fun as it was back then. But that's the same with most video games die off. Like, there are very few that live out for a very long period of time. Like, Minecraft is probably one of the few that, since its inception in 2010, there was no Minecraft 2. There's always been just the one game, yet it's still probably just as popular 11 years later. It's another game that I haven't played in ages, but I definitely enjoyed it at the time. Like, I was thinking maybe a Minecraft stream one night, because I've got the game, like, I could play. It's just, will people tune in? I feel like we gotta wait for someone, maybe Mr. Beast, because I know PewDiePie in 2019 made the game popular again. I think it's died down a bit again. Maybe Mr. Beast makes the game popular, then I'll do some Minecraft a video, maybe not a video, but a stream. Because Caden, yeah, when he made the AFL Stadium in Minecraft, like, that blew up. It was just a perfect time to get it out, and it was a really good video. Like, that would have taken months to make. I remember I attempted to make an AFL Stadium a couple of years before Caden made his, but I just didn't really know how to make it. Like, because the thing about Minecraft, it's squares, it's blocky, so I didn't know how to make it curve around like a stadium normally does. And I just sort of gave up. I spent probably 5-6 hours, but then I just sort of gave up. I didn't see the point of bothering. Although if it was for a YouTube video, that'd be different. I might actually consider giving it a go. But again, it's a bit of an RH because Caden did one. So I'm not just going to do it because he's done it. But yeah, Fortnite. I haven't played that game in a while. Like, genuinely, the last time I probably enjoyed Fortnite, well, actually, it wasn't too bad. I actually played it a little bit early this year. But, like, a proper game of Fortnite would have to be before the new chapter. Because ever since it got to chapter 2, the game really just changed. Well, it really just changed after, like, I'd say season 8. That's when it got, like, season 9 and 10 with all the robots and all that. Like, they just made the game shit. Like, I remember I tried to play, and whatever the robot, I forgot what the name was, but it just fucking was way too overpowered. So whenever I bump into a robot, it's an instant death. There's no point. So I got really pissed off, and then I sort of just stopped playing because other people stopped playing, and I just got bored. And then after I don't play for a while, I end up getting shit at the game. Obviously, like, I've stopped playing, I sort of forget how to play, I become a lot shitter. So at one stage I was actually pretty good, I would say. Like, I don't know how I'd compare myself to players nowadays. I'm sure probably not as good because they're all just sweats. I was never really a sweat, but, like, I would get my 8-9 kill wins every now and then. You get to the stage where I'd literally go downstairs and tell my parents that I got a victory royale. And they sort of cared. Like, my dad actually used to try to play with me, but he was the worst Fortnite player ever. Like, he'd use a shotgun to shoot someone from 100 meters away. Like, he thought a shotgun was a sniper. Like, it was just fucking sad. It's pathetic to see. I had a video on my phone. I don't know if I still have it, but it was so funny. We were playing Team Rumble. He kept dying after dying after dying. Literally probably had landed 15 times and didn't even pull off a shot. And as soon as he landed, he got killed. And he fucking got the controller and he threw it at the TV, or just about at the TV. He was very lucky he missed it, but it was so fucking stupid. My dad raged over Fortnite. It was funny though. I was actually very glad I got that on film, but I can't find the video, which is a bit annoying. He probably would not want me to share it, that's for sure. But it was very, very funny when that happened. I definitely had my fair share of raging in that game. They're like, fucking hell. I remember back in the day, like I used to record every game I'd play, which was a bit unnecessary because I think Fortnite Tracker does that with their stats. Like I was really shit at the start. Like I had a kill average of 0.3 when I first started, and then when people saw my stats, they thought I was shit. But when I got better and I started averaging 3 to 4 kills, people still thought I was rubbish with my KD of still less than 1. But it's just the fact that it was so shit to begin with. It's similar with Evo. Like when I played Evo, I didn't fucking know what I was doing. I was just playing online game after online game and versing the top. I would feel like they were the top players. Like I remember I played this Andy guy who was, I think, number 1 at the time playing. Got pumped by like 120, and I think my win-loss record ended up being like 10 wins and 32 losses. Like, it was abysmal. So people, when they see me on the online rankings, think I'm garbage. I'm not great at Evo, but I'm not as bad as what the online rankings suggest. So it was the same with Fortnite as well. But yeah, Fortnite, I guess it sort of got popular again in 2020 with a few of my mates. It was weird. I actually started playing Fortnite in 2020 again, somewhat regularly. But definitely for me, 2018, second half of 2018, I fucking grinded that game. I played that game basically every day. It was a fun game, but it sort of died off in a way. Like, I don't know, they've done too much to it. The OG map should come back. I don't know how many people still play it. Like, there are still people who play it, that's for sure. Like, it's still one of the most popular games out there. But mainly due to the fact that the controller, when I try and play the game, is just fucking rubbish and it won't let me run, is why I'm not even going to bother. Like, there's just no point. I might as well just uninstall the game if the controller is still going to be a piece of shit and not let me move when I want to move. And another thing that's annoying, like, I've got 4 controllers. We had 4 controllers, and all of a sudden, only one ended. All three of 4 stopped working. Or just sort of a sudden snap of the fingers, 3 of them stopped working. So everyone's blaming me, like my dad and sister. They blame me for that when I did nothing. I literally didn't do a single thing to them. Like, one day they were fine, the next day 3 of them were shit. So I've used the exact same controller for like almost the last year. It's been probably 10 months since those 3 were working, and it almost got to the stage where they were going to take out $300 from my next payment to pay for new controllers. Like, fuck off. Why? Well, they're just placing the blame on me. Just because I use PS4 more than they do doesn't mean I broke the controllers. Maybe it just means they, I don't know, stopped working, or they would still be fixed. I don't know, but it was a bit annoying. Anyways, yeah, that's probably it for this chat with Cardy. Well, it says an hour and 2 on the on OBS, but there were a few parts where I just literally just didn't know what I was saying. Like, you think for podcasts you don't edit them, but sometimes I do actually need to edit them because I just say something, then I go, what am I going to say next? I have no idea. Pause it, and I just cut it. So that's what I've done that a few times actually for this one, so I will edit those parts out. But I'll try and get another guest on next week. Who do you want to see? Like, actually, if you made it this far down, comment down below who you'd like to see next. A UCAT would be not bad, or a Mitchie Ryan. Someone that it can be quite easy to get on, and you guys know. So yeah, comment down below who you want to see next. I just heard a massive argument outside here, outside my room, so hopefully things are good. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. I'll try and get it out on Spotify next week. I'll probably have the time to next week to get that sort of going, so there are a few who want me to do that. But yeah, cheers for listening, and we'll see you soon.